This is a CBC podcast.
This podcast is an extended version of The Debaters, which may contain more mature themes. To stream the radio-friendly version of this episode, download the CBC Listen app or go to cbc.ca/thedebaters. And thanks for listening to the CBC.
Hey Canada, we're gonna have a good time for Pete's sake. From Peterborough, it's the Debaters! The Debaters, where comedians fight with facts and funny, and this audience picks the winner. Now here's a man whose jokes never peter out, Steve Patterson!
Hey! Hello, Canada! Welcome back to the Debaters, and it is great for us to be back here in Peterborough. Yeah. Peterborough, home of the Canadian Canoe Museum. Now, apparently, we looked it up, they're in the process of raising funds for a new, improved museum. And really, the donation request practically writes itself. Hey, Canadian brothers and sisters, can you spare a loony or toonie to keep us afloat? Even though they are looking for money, the Canoe Museum is sticking to their strict policy of no tipping. Now, let's meet a couple debaters who are ready to kayak it up, shall we? This comedian has always lived in a cashless society. It's Simon Rakoff. Simon Rakoff, one of our very favorites. And this comedian doesn't always interrogate his sandwiches, but he has grilled cheese. It's Peterborough's own and the one and only Sean Cullen! There he is, taking his place. To my left, your topic is China. Not the country, the dishes. We're talking plate versus bowl. Which is superior? I think we can all agree one dish that can't make up its mind is the pie plate. It's called a pie plate, but it's really a shallow bowl. I guess they couldn't call it a pie bowl, or that would ruin the alliteration. So pie plate it is, even though we all know it's a bowl. Let's not get started on pie servers. Are they a knife or a spatula? I don't know. I don't care. It's time for me to shut my pie bowl. So, whereas food is usually best presented on a plate, be it resolved that plates are superior to bowls. Simon, you are arguing for this. You have 2 minutes, please, starting now.
Plates are better than bowls in every way. Plates can be used for any part of the meal. Serving platters, a plate big enough to hold all the food for everyone, down to a bread plate, a little one, just for bread. Beyond the objects themselves, even the word plate is better than the word bowl. The Queen's Plate is a prestigious sporting and social event that appeals to the elite of society. The Queen's Bowl is a euphemism for her other throne. How about as a verb? To plate means to cover something in a thin coating of precious metal, or to present a gourmet meal in an aesthetically appealing manner. To bowl is to rent shoes and hoist beers with other fatties in a basement while occasionally participating in the only sport that defines a non-athlete. If someone has a plate in their head, it means they're a badass who is so tough they're still alive after losing part of their skull. The only reason a bowl touches your head is so you can get a haircut like Moe from the Three Stooges. Add a letter to the word plate, you get palate, which means refined taste. Add a letter to bowl, you get bowel, which is what stuff served in it reminds you of. Gross.
Simon Rakoff, ladies and gentlemen. All about the plates, and a number of very good points, actually. Now, to tell us that bowls bowl him over, it's Plate Punisher, Sean Cullen.
The bowl! The bowl the empress of dishes, the queen of crockery, titan of tableware. The bowl is superior to the filthy, useless plate in ways too numerous to mention, but I will do my humble best. The bowl is superior to the plate because it can hold any food item, regardless of what state it's in, liquid or solid. Try and enjoy a delicious plate of soup. You end up with a lap full of human pain. The bowl is there for you when the soup is hot or cold. The bowl not only contains the food, it focuses it in front of you, aiming it towards your face. And it protects you from food dangers, like the soup in the lap, of course, or try carrying a number of oranges or apples or a dozen boiled eggs on a plate. It's impossible. You'll end up with fruit and eggs rolling all over the place, getting underfoot, tripping the elderly, rolling into the cogs of heavy machinery, leading to death on a grand scale. Thank you, bowls, for saving us, while plates would watch us die screaming and laugh in our pitiful faces. Yes. And there are so many beautiful types of bowls in all different shapes and sizes. Fruit bowls, soup bowls, rice bowls, dessert bowls. Aesthetically, the bowl is a sensual delight. Half a sphere, therefore half of the most perfect shape in nature. Its seductive curves and elegant rim are a feast for the eye. The concave shape is not only pleasing to behold, it serves to hide the contents of the bowl, teasing the diner with its subtle coyness, whereas the plate, that lascivious whore, leaves nothing to the imagination, flaunting its wares like a tawdry floozy. Look what's on me! I'm a plate! While bowl beckons demurely. Come on over here, see what's inside. Come on, you know you want to. And would parents who have no innate sense of fashion cut their child's hair with a plate? No, I don't think so. It'd just be a weird little high, flat part on top. Finally, though Simon thinks the toilet bowl is an object of derision, oh, I disagree. What's the alternative? A toilet plate? The idea of having a toilet plate is not only ridiculous, it is nauseating. Imagine, hey kids, go up and use the toilet plate before you go to bed. And remember, rinse the plate. No, thank you.
Sean Cullen, ladies and gentlemen. Sean Cullen, finding a lot that no other human could on behalf of bowls versus plates. I can never say the word the same again now that you've said it that way. Time now for the bare knuckle round. We're debating if plates are superior to bowls, so dish out your dinnermost thoughts until your opponent experiences irritable bowl syndrome. Wait your tureen, then tell them that their argument is a total crock. Show us your melamine streak, and don't worry about coming to a ceramicable agreement, because this department is not meant to be dishwasher safe.
Maybe there was a time when coyly hiding the food was acceptable, but we went through the 60s, man.
Oh, yeah?
And now it's cool to show off what you got, baby.
Well, when you're showing off what you got and it's spilling all over your pants, that means you've got a problem with your show-offy liquid food. Now, plates, you know why they break plates at Greek weddings? Because they're stupid. Everyone knows plates are stupid and they should be broken. Whereas bowls, you know how hard it is to throw a bowl as a potter as opposed to
Whereas
throwing
it's
a
easy
plate?
to throw a plate, hence the fun of a Frisbee. Originally a plate, and somebody said, I am so happy with this food on it, I'm going to finish and still play with the plate. You said it's hard to throw a bowl? It sure is. I mean, your dog won't catch a bowl. It'll just right off its snout.
Well,
Poor puppy.
That's one reason
wanna hurt
not to
dogs.
have a dog. Not.
Okay, let's go back in time here. One of the great thinkers of all of time, Plato. Contrast that with the boll weevil, destroyer of cotton crops, ruiner of the Southern economy.
Well, the Southern economy needed to be ruined. So the boll weevil came along and saved many people. And I'll tell you what, the bowl, perhaps you haven't heard of the great Greek philosopher Bolocles, who told everyone, look at this, it's on my head. I can flip it upside down and put some noodles in it. And isn't that just what life is like? When life gives you a hat, turn it into a bowl.
Do you want the last word on this, Simon?
No, I think that Greek philosopher that we should all look up quickly after this.
Bolocles.
Yeah.
That's the
Bolocles.
bare knuckle round, everybody. He does not get enough play. Bolocles. It is time now for the firing line. In my hand, I have a list of questions on bowl versus plate, brought to you by classic actor and dish aficionado Humphrey Bogart. And who can forget his famous line, plate again, Sam? Here we go. According to the culinaryexchange.com, the 4 types of bowls every kitchen needs are steel, glass, copper, and what? Sean.
The skulls of my enemies. They clean up nice.
I'll give you a point just out of fear. Simon?
No, a happy cook has steel, glass, copper, and a hash pipe.
Good answer. The actual answer, wood. You need wood bowls for salads. A plate is composed of 4 parts: the well, the lip, the rim, and what? Simon?
The chip that I have no idea how it happened.
Half a point for that. Sean Cullen.
The nipples?
No, Sean. There should not be any nipples on the plate.
I might want to keep it from sliding around, you know. Just when the plate got cold, it would rise slightly. Making it easier to eat from.
And yet they haven't added that feature.
Yeah,
Go
it's
figure.
strange.
Hard to believe in this day and age.
We're learning stuff here. The actual answer is the base, but now we're all thinking about plate nipples. And good luck getting through the rest of your day. A businessman in Abu Dhabi paid over $14 million at auction for what kind of plate? Sean Cullen?
A huge golden plate with "I'm an idiot" written in diamonds.
That was a Home Shopping Network special.
It was a record day for them. It was a license plate, which was just the number 1. I mean, business in Abu Dhabi, you don't have to be that smart. Complete this Rudy Valley lyric. Life is just a bowl of cherries, so... Simon.
Wear stain-proof pants.
Classic Rudy Valley. 2 points. The actual answer, live and laugh at it all. And that's the firing line, everybody. Oh, we are getting so close. We are in the back straight of this one. It is almost time for our beautiful Showplace Theater audience to pick a winner. But first, here again to tell us why plates are not that great, but a bowlful is soulful. Here's bowl boaster, Sean Cullen.
Thank you. As the great Bolocles once said, get your fingers out of there. The bowl may not be considered to be sophisticated by some utter morons, but it has survived the test of time. Since the dawn of history, we've been dipping into bowls and coming up grinning. But the bowl is not limited to a dining implement. The Queen's plate. That's all you've got? Well, I've got the Super Bowl. I've got the Hollywood Bowl. And what is the Stanley Cup but an elaborate bowl? Try. I'd love to be on your hockey team, Simon, when they're all gathered around the Stanley plate, licking it. Great win, guys. I'm a winner. No, you're not. You're a loser with champagne all over your face. Thank you.
Sean Cullen, reminding us of the immortal Bolacles. Updated wisdom for our times. Thank you again, Sean.
You're welcome.
Now, here again to tell us that he will always step up for the plate, it's the well-plated Simon Rakoff.
Your hurt feelings don't change the facts, Sean. I mean, imagine going to a dinner party and being served all your courses in a bowl. You'd think you were accidentally put at the children's table. A bowl with cut-up food says you can't be trusted with a knife. Plates tell us we're adults who can be. Go ahead, cut your meat as big or small as you like it. You're big. Plates are so much more popular than bowls. Consider the saucer. It's a little plate under a cup. That's right. Plates are so popular that other dishes want to have their own plate. A charger is a big plate that goes under your dinner plate. A soup plate has a flat plate under it. We can't get enough plates. A bowl has one use, to mix food in the kitchen so that it can be served on a plate.
Simon Rakoff. Some great logic there by Simon on behalf of Plates. Let's see how the audience has decided by your applause. Who thinks that Simon's pro plate points were picture perfect? Simon Rakoff. Nice support for Simon here in Peterborough.
Very good.
And who thinks Sean's pro bowl game was a sure bet? Sean Cullen. Wow. The audience has spoken, and they are bowl people, and Sean Cullen is the win. Sean Cullen bowls over plates. Big hand for Sean Cullen and Simon Rakoff, everybody.
You're listening to The Debaters on CBC Radio 1. If you want to listen to our program live or on demand anytime, make sure you download the CBC Listen app. And now, back to Steve Patterson.
Hey, Peterborough, you ready to meet your next pair of debaters? Let's do it. This comic won't squeeze a cow's udder unless she's wearing her finest milk duds.
I'm Trina Winter.
And I'm Thomas LeBlanc.
Welcome to Chosen Family. Every second week, we talk about art, sexuality, and identity with a special guest. Usually queer, but not always.
I completely struggled coming out to my parents as a comedian. Being in the entertainment industry for Middle Eastern people is unheard of.
Affecting change requires people to shake it up.
Listen to Chosen Family wherever you get your podcasts.
What sign are you, by the way?
I'm an Aries.
Of course, I love it.
It's Deborah Kimmett. Deborah Kimmett, one of our very favorites, striding purposely to the lectern on my left. And this comic has performed with a broken leg, but gives credit to her supporting cast. It's Peterborough's own Michelle Shaughnessy. Michelle Shaughnessy in a homecoming debate. This should be a good one.
Good to be here.
All right. Your topic is one that we think's probably going to divide this Peterborough audience. Soap operas, should we watch them? Now, there isn't a modern Canadian soap opera, so I just watched the Canadian Senate on CPAC and call it The Old and the Absent. They passed a bill in season 1, not much since then. Never mind that. Time to tune into this debate. So, whereas for generations they've captivated us with scandals, twists, and love affairs, be it resolved everyone should watch soap operas. Michelle, you are arguing for this, please. You have 2 minutes, starting now.
Okay, look, if you were a stay-at-home mom in the 80s or 90s, you know that by 1 o'clock you were sick of your children. You could maybe read them a story or, give them some cold medicine and call it nap time. But regardless, it was time for mommy's stories, right? It was All My Children, then One Life to Live, then General Hospital, then Y&R was on at 4:30 because you missed it at 1 when you were watching All My Children. 90% of soaps have been canceled because people apparently want reality TV. Are you kidding me? I'll take Erica Kane over Kim Kardashian any day. Yes. Soaps are in the middle of a mass extinction, and my opponent does not care. Next thing you know, she's going to be poaching elephant tusks in Africa. Some afternoons, channel surfing, the only soap opera I can find on is on CNN. It's called The Orange and the Impeached. It's okay. It just seems to be going on a little long. Everything I've learned in this One Life to Live, I learned from soaps. Like parenting. When I have a kid that's nearing the terrible twos, I'm just going to send him to his room for like a season. And then he'll come back down the stairs, a sexy adult. Luke and Laura taught me love. Yes, I've had 6 husbands. None of them were mine, but I had them. Every man in my life has disappeared without a trace, but that has nothing to do with me. Yeah, because I know they're probably just trapped in a hospital with amnesia. And even if they do come back, I won't recognize them because they will have probably been recast. So if you're sitting there thinking, Michelle, you're so dramatic, to you I say thank you. But to my opponent, I say this. Next time your lover comes back as a woman with amnesia carrying a stolen baby who's actually a time-traveling alien, come to save the world from being frozen while being possessed by the devil, who's actually just a clone that talks to a doll named Timmy, and you need help, don't come crawling to me.
Yeah. Michelle Shaughnessy, getting us into the soap opera world. Now to tell us that soaps are for dopes, it's the always dramatic and funny Deb Kimmett.
She's had 6 husbands. Now I know where mine went. My dad had a joke about a soap opera. He said, singing in the shower is all fun and games until you get soap in your mouth and then it's a soap opera. No, that's not a funny joke. My dad is dead now. Or is he? Maybe my dad had plastic surgery and he came back to life as his daughter. Which means I'm married to my mother. And I can't divorce her because she won't let me because she's Catholic. I know, that makes absolutely no sense. Soap operas are a lot like sex at my age. There's a lot of build-up and no climax. They're ludicrous plot lines. How many times can some guy be trapped in a basement for months at a time, confined there? No one seems to miss him at work. The people live upstairs, and there's a guy down in the basement walking around in chains, and he's crying out, and no one hears them. Where else does that happen except maybe for poor Tiffany at the White House? And so I say to you, if religion is the opium of the masses, as Karl Marx said, or was it Carl from Young and the Restless? I don't know. But I say soap operas are the Ativan of the shift worker, the mother, and the comic, like Michelle. Or is she a comic? Well, my friends, we shall see. We shall see, Michelle. Thank you.
Deb Kimmett. Deb Kimmett with a dose of reality against soap operas. And against Michelle Shaughnessy, if that's her real name. I actually don't know what's real anymore. She said it's like sex, a lot of build-up and no climax. That should go over well in the afternoon when this airs. All right, ladies, time now for the bare knuckle round. We're debating if everyone should watch soap operas. So listen up, you bold and beautiful debaters. Let's keep this argument clean so it can be heard by all my children. Remember, the Coronation Street is listening. Oh my God, if Coronation Street doesn't work with this crowd, I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go. I don't know who you people are. You're from a different network.
They actually work.
It's best to avoid unplanned pregnant pauses like the one we just had. And remember that to the spoils of this segment will go to the victor, who every time I see him looks like a new man.
Look, some good things have come out of soap operas, like Guiding Light. We all remember Guiding Light, yes? Thank you. It actually started as a radio program. It made the transition from radio to TV. You know, maybe if you watch soaps and learn a few things, you could say the same thing one day, Deb.
What, that I'd be on TV? Well, I know you were writing that from your motel room, but that's okay. I just think that there's other parts of the whole viewing experience in the afternoon. Now that there's a streaming device, it's called Netflix. You can actually watch TV all along, and you can actually have plots, and they have beginnings and middles and ends. And so I'm not against the TV.
Netflix, I get it. You like Frankie and Drake, and you have a credit card. Humble brag. But I find it interesting that you talk about drugs, because a study showed that drug use among housewives is actually on the rise. Of course. What are housewives supposed to do all day now that soaps aren't on?
Or do they actually go to work? Like, there aren't a lot of housewives that really watch TV like that anymore. I mean, you're back in the 80s. I think you need to get into the future. Is that when you were born? I'm sorry, I didn't know when that was again.
It doesn't matter. You know a lot about drugs. Are you a drug dealer?
A drug dealer? Yeah. If you call Lipitor a drug, yes.
Okay, that's a good place to stop the bare knuckle round, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to The Debaters on CBC Radio 1, or maybe on the new player, or maybe on our podcast, and it's time now for the firing line. In my hand, I have a list of questions on soap operas brought to you by Irish Spring Soap. Irish Spring Soap. What my ancestors smell like right after winter. What was the name of the soap opera that featured stories about a vampire? Deb?
Young and the Restless, with Victor Newman. He won't die no matter how old he gets. He just stays there.
Love Vic. Love Vic. 1 point. Michelle Shaughnessy.
I don't know, but I bet it sucked. Blood, huh?
It's not the worst joke we've ever had on this show. Don't you boo. 1 point. The actual answer was Dark Shadows.
Yeah.
It's perfect. That was a perfect, indifferent audience reaction. What soap opera event holds the record for most viewers for a daytime broadcast? Michelle.
I'm not 100% sure on this, but if you asked Trump, he would say it was his inauguration.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Good answer. 2.5 points for that one. Deb Kimmett.
I actually know this. It was Luke and Laura's wedding on General Hospital.
Yes, it was. Another official point. That's 30 million viewers that had. And that there was only 31 million people in the world at that time. Incredible. What were the first words spoken on Coronation Street? Michelle.
This European Union thing is gonna last forever.
1.5 points. Deb.
That's right, mate. People with bad teeth can actually be on TV.
2 points from the audience. The actual answer was the first word spoken on Coronation Street, where now the next thing you've got to do is get a sign writer in. Oh, magical. And that's the firing line, everybody. It's almost time for our theater audience to pick a winner here at the Showplace. But first, here again to tell us why soap operas aren't music to her ears, it's daytime diva, Deb Kimmett.
I'll admit, when I was younger, I did watch Young and the Restless, and I always watched Victor Newman, who talked like... I don't know what he was saying, but I was pretty sure he was going to marry Nikki again. And every time he asked her, there would be this dramatic music that would play. Every single time he asked her. Can you imagine if your doctor had that kind of music when they called you? Deb, could you call us on Monday? We got your test results back. And the camera pans closely on Deb's face as she does an emergency breast exam. And that's why soap operas suck. Thank you.
Deb Kimmett. Yeah. Getting some production into this. I like it. Now, here again to tell us that from days to Corey, she loves her stories, it's True Soap student, Michelle Shaughnessy.
Thank you. Look, I actually got to go off topic because I have a confession. I only got into comedy to get cast on a soap opera. Carol Burnett, comedy queen, was actually in 7 episodes of All My Children. And Wayne Brady, yeah, he's a star on The Bold and Beautiful because they know they needed that star power. I can think of another comic who's bold and beautiful. Me. The point is we all have drama in their lives. I have more than others, and I've worked really hard for that. I was raised here. I'm a proud Peterborough native. We're an exciting town, okay? Yes, we are. Hear me out. We can make it happen together at Peterborough, okay? Why don't we create our own Peterborough soap opera? Yes. It could be Love at the Lift Lock. You know, Lust on Little Lake. Or like Tent City Temptations. Peterborough, we can come together to not only save soap operas, but to get me on one. You're welcome for being here.
Michelle Shaughnessy. She is bold and beautiful. Let's see if she's won over her hometown crowd. Audience, it is up to you, Showplace, to pick a winner by applause. Who thinks that Michelle sticking up for soap operas was superior? Michelle Shaughnessy. Okay. Good support for Michelle here. And who thinks Deb's anti-soap opera opinion owned this one? Deb Kimmett. Okay. All right. It was close. It was a close one on each side, but I got to give this one to Deb Kimmett. Down with soap operas. Big hand for Deb Kimmett and Michelle Shaughnessy, everybody. Well, that's all for this week. I'm Steve Patterson saying thanks for continuing to listen to this soap opera, where the only evil twin is your own laughter. I'll argue with you again soon, Canada. Good night.
The Debaters is created by Richard Seid. This week's episode was produced by Graham Clark, Nicole Callender, Katie Ellen Humphreys, and Josh Bailey. With technical production by Doug Doctor, John McLean, and Kyle Katasowicz. Tracy Rideout is the executive producer of CBC Radio Comedy. And thanks to everyone at the Showplace Performance Center in Peterborough. Hey Debaters fans, be sure to follow us at CBC Debaters for tour dates and exclusive content. That's CBC Debaters on Facebook and Twitter.
For more CBC podcasts, go to cbc.ca/podcasts.